All right, guys. So I just got done watching Love and Mercy, the Beach Boys movie, the movie about the Beach Boys, and more specifically Brian Wilson's life. It's a the biopic, movie about the Beach Boys, and more about Brian Wilson, more about Brian Wilson's life and the struggles and all the stuff he went through. And, it was pretty crazy, all the mental problems he had. He had a lot of mental problems. I knew he struggled with some stuff, but I did not know it was this bad. It was like, for the movie, it was really bad. Then, later on in his life in the 80s, that guy, the fucking therapist guy, was like controlling him, and it's just crazy how much control he had on him. He was just like controlled him, abusing him, manipulating him, over medicating him. It was really bad, and it's just he's a really bad guy. And I don't know how the fuck that happened. He prevented him from seeing his daughters, prevented him from seeing his parents, prevented him from seeing his family in general. And as he's telling to the girl or his future wife, but at the time, he met her. And so it goes back and forth between, that period of time, which was like the 80s, and then the 60s, like, I think the late 60s it was, like, and he had, like, really bad, like, mental issues. Like, he had really bad mental issues. He would, hear voices and stuff, and the freaking, therapist guy, I think, said that it was schizophrenia, told him that he had schizophrenia, which I guess would make sense from the voices, but it turns out that he didn't. The guy, he's a manipulator, so that's what manipulators do. He made it basically think that he was sicker than he actually was. He did have some mental issues, but he didn't have schizophrenia because doctors later on, I guess re-diagnosed him and did studies and realized that he did have schizophrenia. He obviously has some mental problems, but he doesn't have schizophrenia. And I know I sound a little congested because I don't know, I've been a little congested all day. I might have a cold, but we're not here to talk about it. We're here to talk about this movie, and it was really good. It's just crazy once again how much control someone can have. It's just crazy how much he controlled Brian, and it's just really crazy. But it was a really good movie. The guy that played Brian Wilson, was really well. And the guy that played that, therapist guy, even though he was a bit of a dick, the guy that played him, I forgot his name, is Paul something. Paul something, I forgot his name. It was a really good movie. This is a 9 out of 10. Really good. I definitely recommend it.